So what is this workshop supposed to be? This is improvisation, right? Oh.
Alan probably just doesn't know where he's at.
I know. I'm Alan Mundy. Well, thank you very much. Well, let's see. That's not bluegrass. Do we have any questions about improvisation? There we go, there you go.
Know this guy out here.
Guard sees him. Well, improvisation is a very nebulous and mysterious thing. It's when I started playing, no one ever showed me how to improvise. I always just kind of did it. And so now when I give lessons, people say, well, how do you improvise? And I say, well, you know, you just sort of play. And, I think playing with other people helps a lot. How many of you are uncomfortable with improvising, or you know, feel like you need work on it? Well, there's always room for improvement.
That's how we do it, attack.
There you go. I think one way, if you haven't improvised before, one thing to get into is just take some tune, just do something on your own. In other words, I think it sort of goes hand in hand with being tied to tablature or something. You know, you gotta start thinking for yourself, and not just, if you spend like 2 or 3 years learning off tablature and you've never worked stuff up off of record or thought things through on your own and come up with your own tunes or something like that, you need to start just using your own thought processes in terms of putting something together. I mean, one thing I can recommend for starters, which isn't really improvising, but it's just making up your own breaks for tunes, something that Earl hasn't already done. And just getting comfortable doing that. I mean, hopefully what happens, and this is how it worked for me, I learned, you know, 10 or 20 Scruggs songs, and then just from that, got the gist of how the thing works, and you realize certain licks just keep repeating. Like, you know, that lick just happens bunches of times. Slow? So anyway, you can take a lick like that, or that's probably the simplest way to do it. You can take an exact Scruggs break and just like change, I mean, it's sort of sacrilegious, but change one of his licks. Instead of going, you can go, and that's improvising. You're doing something that's not the way it was written down originally. That's probably the simplest thing to do, is just plug in different licks. Because again, when you first start, where have you been?
Where have you been? You're the leader of this damn thing. We have to introduce him as Alan Mundy.
Now you got the 2 mics. You're the leader, you get the 2 mics. You get the pretty colors.
We'd like to begin today by...
Go ahead. Just carry on.
I'm listed as the leader only because I'm the only one of this bunch that when all this started, I said, man, anything you got for me, I'll do it. You know, and they said, okay. And they started writing my name every open space they had. But these guys are so wonderful.
Everybody was following you, though, because they thought you had something in the car for them.
Apparently you already started fielding questions, so please continue.
Well, that's basically just that one aspect. It's just plugging in different licks, like C licks for 9-pound hammer. You can go. Or you go. Whatever, you just take that one space. You have, you know, 2 measures or 4 measures of something, or 1 measure. You can need a 1 measure C lick or 2 measure C lick. If you learn a bunch of licks, I happen to have a book called. Anyway, so that's one way of approaching improvisation. Alan, tell us about another way.
That's the only way I know.
Okay, class is dismissed.
I I would like to just make one statement about improvising and the whole idea of it, that many people have the wrong idea. And they think that they watch these musicians and they say they're improvising, and they think they they're playing things that they've never ever played before in their whole life. And Tony has just demonstrated that much of the time it's just 90% of the time, let's say, is playing things that you've already played before. Maybe in new situations and new songs and with different players, but things that you've played before. And in hopes that maybe 10% of the time you really do stumble on things that are brand new and you could truly say were spontaneously improvised. And Lord knows I've heard Tony play those same licks. God, how many times?
It's really embarrassing.
But so that what is my point is that is the more things you have and the more things that you understand, the more vocabulary you have in terms of licks, and you understand how to use them, and then just throw them in sort of at will, or that's what many people call improvising, and it's essentially what I do when I do what I call improvising, which is very seldom. And I want to just also point out that with these players here, I'm really not an improviser. I'm more of a rehearsed kind of a player, where they're much more exciting and better. They're better. That's it. Okay.
It's a good thing it's Monday.
Yeah. I'm trying my humble act today. See how it works. Okay. Somebody had a question there. Yes, sir.
If you're playing a song you're not familiar with, how many measures, notes ahead do you usually, maybe all of you can answer, how far ahead are you thinking? 2, 1, no?
I think you're thinking bars.
So
You have an idea when you go into something that you're going to do, you have a complete bar imaged in your mind before you can go for it. Wouldn't you say?
A complete bar?
If you don't,
Yes.
yeah, just a bar. I mean, if you don't, you might really blow it hard, But you've got enough at least in there to say, well, the first 2 notes may be weird, but I've got this bar, this thing I'm going to fall back on. You've got this image in your mind of at least one complete bar before you go for it. So you wouldn't be able to say any particular amount of notes. You just say, I have a bar here. Wouldn't you?
You don't mean like a measure, literally?
A measure.
Yeah,
I
I
mean
mean,
one measure.
Okay, yeah, right, okay.
Well, hey, come on, same word.
Worked good, didn't it?
Yeah. And I think it works definitely. It depends on how you're approaching it. Bill Keith talks about when you're improvising, the ideal place is to get to where you're every next note. I mean, if you could go from there to there, or there to there, or there. In other words, instead of thinking I also tend to think, at least a lot of the time, in terms of measures, bars, measures.
Anything in terms of bars and what all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1 ball.
But like this lick. That whole thing. That's a Scruggs lick from a beautiful called Rag on Pt.1 Banjo. And when I got to I knew in my mind before I got there that I was going to play. I don't think about every one of those notes, but I think about, okay, this position, and I love that lick, so I'm going to just stick in that whole lick. What I was saying about Bill Keith is, like jazz players, I mean, if you're at this note, you have to get to the next note. You could go to that note, or you could go to that note, or you could go, if you could reach it, whatever. There's a lot of different possibilities of where the next note's going to come, and that's, when you're really improvising very freely, you can be that free to go to, have 10 different choices. In bluegrass, you'll tend to go to a whole lick. Like that, or whatever, that sort of thing. You tend to think in measures and bars.
Yeah,
That's what Eddie was saying.
yeah.
Larry, how do you improvise when you?
About the same way I've all mentioned before, but talk about phrases, sometimes you do things more than 4 bars at a time, 2 4 bars, you do bluegrass, it goes about 2. So I had to learn to think in phrases like 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, 2. You get the feel of that, how long that is mentally. Then you can fill the hole.
Mhm.
The phrase is a good thing. But you gotta play with people a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think improvising, it's hard to just sit by yourself and improvise. I mean, I do it sometimes, but it's nice to have some sort of rhythmic structure behind you, or a band, or a guitar, or even a metronome, something. If you just start playing by yourself, it's harder to do. Yes.
I was wondering if you'd like to play Dukes of Hazzard improvisation.
Just a band.
You can play it. You want him to improvise off the Dukes of Hazzard?
Yeah, some of the stuff that goes on there.
What's, I forgot the old boy's name. Who played the banjo with Troy? He played that. I didn't do the theme song.
You mean Herb Peters?
I mean Herb.
Oh, he means Herb Peters.
Herb did that. I wasn't there that day. I was across town, another session. I played all the Dukes except for Steve. I played with him credit for 5 years, but he was the one who got this. Somebody could play that lick like somebody. Melodies like, the banjo's like a backup to the melody on that. It's just, this note just sees that there's not anything complex at all. This double time, double time.
Yes.
And this is an if you know question. Let's assume you've got in your mind 10 licks that go with a C chord, and you're coming up on a C and you're thinking of it. Now, if it's a song that has a melody, are you consciously sorting mentally with something that's going to literally pick up some of the melody notes, or are you just getting something tasteful, or do you even know why it is that you pick number 3 instead of number 9?
It's the feeling, like, call it by ear, or whatever you want to call it, and name it, but, it's the feeling at the moment. It may not be the same tonight as it was last night, or it's going to be tomorrow night. It's a feeling of what everybody else did, like you're talking about in a group. It's a feeling of what everybody else did that made you do that thing. It's like something you're not, it's like almost at a subconscious level, it creates that thing. What you try to do is you hit 2 notes of the tune, and the rest is whatever happens to hit that particular night.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with the backup, for instance. I was jamming last night with this guy, David Greer, who's Lamar Greer's son. He used to play banjo with Bill Monroe back in 1966, great banjo player. Anyway, this guy, David Greer, is like a really hot guitar player. He may be right here tomorrow. Yeah, he played on Country Gazette's latest record. Was that your record? Country Gazette's record, yeah. And he's like he's sort of taken Clarence White style and moved it way beyond that. But anyway, he's just like a really exciting guitar player. We're jamming out. I was just playing all sorts of stuff I don't usually end up playing because I just got so excited playing with him. And and then you can play with other people, like other guitar players that just don't have real steady time, or they're just, I don't know, it's one of those imperceptible things why some people excite you and others don't. And, people you play with in a band, for instance. And I find I'll play a lot better if I have someone who's really pushing me and kicking it. And I might get a lot more ideas that way. So what Eddie's saying is true. It is a feeling. A lot of it is subconscious. Sometimes I think of what I'm going to play after I've already played it. It's just, I do some...
Pretty good. I hope I remember.
Yeah, really. You hope someone's taping it. Sometimes I've done, I'll do these solo concerts and I'll just free improvise and I don't know what I'm playing. I'll just get out there and start. I might go to certain licks that I'm familiar with or certain reps, but a lot of what I do is just like, give me any key. That's getting to playing just by yourself, where you don't have a rhythmic structure or a chordal structure behind you, and you can just do anything. And I do that sometimes, just totally free improvisation, not knowing what key you're playing.
Great way to practice.
What's that?
It's a great way to practice.
Yeah, It loosens you up a lot when you do that.
Creates new channels.
Do you do that?
Mhm.
You want to do one?
No, no.
I'll do one if you'll do
Wouldn't
one.
make any sense to anybody. Yeah, I sit around and do that stuff.
Let's hear it.
Don't we all do that? Do we all do that?
And I've got this thing that's gonna be,
Go. Yeah. Yeah.
On the hill, that was it.
do that one more time. Do that one more time. I think I've almost got it. Return.
Oh, come on.
You did, you said you.
All right.
Whatever, that's, I mean, there's some conscious thought process going into that. I mean,
Not much.
oh, come on. I mean, I think what happens is you get to a certain point and you say, okay, here I am on the fingerboard, and then, you know, you go out into outer space a little bit, and then you realize, oh, okay.
I apologize.
That's all the voices you ever thought of.
Your turn, Alan.
I wasn't part of the deal. I've already made my statement. I don't do those things. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't, I can't. Oh.
You got to get rid of that dumb head on there.
I know it, I know it. This one or this one?
No.
I've got a question. One of the things that intimidating about improvisation is the possibility of mistakes.
Yeah.
Mistakes in timing, mistakes in notes, mistakes in chords, mistakes.
Just do something on.
And he had a flat tire and made everybody else change the tire while he wrote this song.
So the Dixie breakdown.
It's rough life. Dixie breakdown.
Thank you all very much. Now it's time for us to bring on Tony Trishka. Where are you?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tony, for coming in.
Oh, I was going to come out anyway. Doug Dillard. Well, this is a tight show. We've had this whole thing all figured out for about 2 months. I guess I'm going to do a few solo things. But before that, I'm going to do Salt Creek, starting off with G and then going to A for you and for me. So,
A big G.
yeah, we'll just start off with G and then so. If you'll bear with us for about 35 seconds, I want to rehearse one thing here. Okay, so let me yeah, while I'm doing the solo stuff. Yeah, teaching that and then your song. We'll finish with that. All right. So we'll just do Salt Creek then. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed that number as much as we did. So we're going to start off with Salt Creek right here. This was formerly the Doug Dillard Band. We've renamed it the Tony Trishka Band. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, we're going to go minimalist here, and I'm going to do a few solo banjo things right now. It's kind of fun to see what the possibilities of trying to orchestrate the banjo are without all these other instruments. And I think I'll just take it somewhere else right now. This is a tune I wrote about 2 months ago, and it's in the key of C minor. Has maybe sort of a gypsy feel to it. And there's no particular story to it, but maybe it'll conjure up some images in your mind. Thank you. The little interlude there was courtesy of Chris Sands. The banjo's a happy instrument. Lest we forget. Okay, I'm going to do a Beatles medley right now, and I guess I first heard Bela Fleck do this at the Telluride Festival out in Colorado a couple of years ago, and I thought that seems like a good idea if you're going to do a solo banjo show, just so for the uninitiated people who aren't banjo players, they'll at least have something they can latch on to. So these are a few of my favorite Beatle tunes, and see if you can recognize them. concert, but if you have any